I, 38M, found out my wife, 36F, cheated in the beginning of our relationship. I found out my wife cheated at the start of our relationship because she was uncertain if our relationship would work out. I overheard her discussing this with her sister. She expressed regret after seeing a potential future with me, assuring that it never happened again. Should I just try and forget what I heard? My wife and I have been together since 2010 and married in 2016. We both work full-time and don't have children, though we've been trying for a while without success. Recent events have left me questioning if I truly want this with her. We met when we both entered university. I started in 27, she in 28. We were friends before becoming a couple. Around the end of 2000 and start of 2010, she was going through a rough patch in her relationship at the time, and I ended up supporting her alongside a mutual friend of ours. She eventually broke up with her ex, and a few months later, one thing led to another, and we ended up kissing. This led to me asking her on a date, and the rest is history. We were officially together in 2010, and I couldn't have been happier. Our marriage and relationship, in general, have always been good. We've communicated well, and I never had a reason to suspect my wife of infidelity. Last Saturday, we were at a barbecue at her brother's house. I went inside to get some items from the kitchen. While rummaging through the fridge, I overheard my wife talking to her sister in another room. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop initially, but then I heard something like, "My name can never know about this." Well, that was my cue to listen in. I hid and listened. Apparently, her sister almost cheated on her boyfriend and was feeling guilty. My wife told her about a time she slept with a guy who was a lab assistant with her at university. After we started dating, we were exclusive, as per Edit 2, in 2010. She said, "I wasn't sure things with my name would work out at the time, and I just allowed myself to do it. I felt guilty once I saw how much he loved me and treated me well, and I could see a future with him." Her sister asked if anything else happened later in the relationship, and my wife answered, "No, it was just that one time, and I wish I could forget about it." I haven't spoken to her about this yet. I'm not even sure how to approach it. I feel incredibly hurt, and I know confronting her right now might worsen things. Again, I never had a reason to suspect she cheated, but she hid this from me all these years. Now it feels like she just cheated on me. I'm really broken. She's noticed I've been off these past few days, and I dismissed it by saying it's just stress, but she knows me, and she will keep pressing for answers. I'm at a loss on how to proceed. Should I just try and forget what I overheard? I don't know if I should talk to her now or process this in therapy first. Edit. I've decided I will talk to her, but not right now. I'm still very upset, and I don't want this to turn into a shouting match. I want it to be a conversation, not a fight. I have a therapy session today, and I will speak with my therapist about it. Hopefully, it will help me start this conversation with my wife. Had I known she cheated back then, I would have broken up with her. I understand everyone saying just leave, but this is the person I built my life with, the person who supported me in many ways and helped me grow as a person and professional. Before making any harsh decisions, I want to hear her side. Then I'll decide for myself the way forward. No, I don't believe she cheated on me other than that time. She never gave me any reason to think she did. I've always had access to her phone, and she was never secretive. We spend most of our free time together. How she answers when I talk to her will either confirm or change this completely. Edit 2. I talked to my therapist, which helped me a lot. My mind is in a much better place now, and I plan to talk to my wife tonight. My next steps will be based on her reaction and response. Also, people are assuming we weren't exclusive when the cheating happened. We were. After we started dating literally translates to "Depois que começamos a namorar" in my native language, and this phrase denotes exclusivity in my culture. That was the case for us. We did have a period of friends with benefits when we were both seeing other people, but we were open about it. Welcome to our relationship advice. Please make sure you read our rules. We'd like to take this time to remind users that we do not allow any type of "am I the a-hole" content or situations involving minors. We also do not allow users to privately message other users based on their posts here. Users found to be engaging in this conduct will be banned. We highly encourage the original poster to turn off the ability to be privately messaged in their settings. Any sort of name-calling or insults will result in the comment being removed and the user being banned. This includes, but is not limited to, derogatory terms. It does not matter to whom you are referring. All advice given must be good and ethical. Joke advice or advice that is conspiratorial or just plain terrible will be removed, and users may be subject to a ban. No referencing hateful subreddits and/or their rhetoric. Examples include, but are not limited to, referring to people with certain labels or using certain rhetoric from toxic subcultures. Any infractions of this rule will result in a ban. Please note this is not an all-inclusive list. All bans in this subreddit are permanent. You do not get a free pass. Anyone found to be directly messaging users for any reason whatsoever will be banned. We cannot give advice on topics involving rants, unsolicited advice, medical conditions/advice, mental illness, letters to an ex, number of intimate partners, legal problems, financial problems, situations involving minors, and/or abuse, including violence, SA, and emotional abuse. All of these will be removed and locked. Again, this is not an all-inclusive list. If you have any questions, please reach out to the moderators. This is an automatic comment that appears on all posts. This comment does not necessarily mean your post violates any rules. I am a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit if you have any questions or concerns. The betrayal just happened to you, no matter how much time has passed for her. You can't bury it, as it will come out in many different unhealthy ways. If you want to keep growing together and be healthy, happy, and have a safe, supportive relationship, she has to own it and work towards regaining your trust. His partner is still thinking about it and still hiding it from him. Exactly this. I really dislike the inevitable response, but it was so long ago, and she's been loyal since, so when you cheat and fail to come clean, the cheating happened yesterday to your partner. You don't get credit for not having cheated. Allegedly, how does your partner know that now? Since then. I am also really repulsed by the statement, I wasn't sure things with my name would work out at the time, and I just allowed myself to do it. Sorry, but that's really appalling. Is it okay to cheat as long as you don't see a future with a person? I'm sorry, but anyone with an attitude like that will always find another excuse to cheat. Also, one thought. Until you get your head and your heart sorted out on this, you may want to hold off on trying for a child. If this ultimately proves to be a deal breaker, it will only complicate everything significantly. You may want to hold off on trying for a child. No worries though. There's no way I can even focus on that with all of this going on. If there is a baby in the mix, there is no such thing as a clean break. You're worried that confronting her might harm your relationship, but the reality is that it has already been harmed. You don't have the option of the relationship not suffering. Your choices are whether you want to bear all of the suffering yourself, or whether you want to work through it with her. If you don't tell her that you know, then you will suffer in silence. Whether you intend to or not, you'll start to resent her. You'll lash out at her, and she won't even know why. That will harm your relationship. This doesn't have to be a relationship-ending situation, but I don't think you can have a healthy relationship going forward unless you have a real conversation with her about it. Update me. You need to communicate. Otherwise, that lack of communication will destroy the relationship. Whether it can survive with what she did is another matter. Emotionally intelligent response. Upvoting this before the ill-considered ones flood in. I'm not saying you should leave her, but she deserves to be confronted about it. She's been able to hide this while knowing that if he had done the same, it would be over. The issue here, to me, is she handled her doubt by cheating instead of communicating with you, and then continued not communicating with you. I'm sure you are now wondering if she will handle bad times differently now, and if she has since then. She's shattered your perception of who she is. I'm sure it's probably scary that you had no clue she was cheating. None of this feels like it can be remedied without talking to her and seeing her rebuild the trust she broke. I am from a history of relationships with manipulative people replaying childhood trauma, so I tend not to tell them how I found out because I don't like teaching people to be sneakier, but I 100% think you do have to talk to her even if you don't tell her how you know. I would highly suggest a good therapist to sort your feelings out. Your wife should be willing to take accountability, rebuild trust, and give confidence that she handles that kind of stress differently. I am a little concerned about how she handled her sister. Was her advice to her sister just not to feel guilty and give her hope the sister can move on from it and forget it? Or was it empathy and advice not to do it and never do it again? It says a lot, which is why I ask. I'm sorry you're going through this. Trauma begins when it happens to you. Of course, it feels like it just happened to you. That's normal. Healing is also not linear. Just remember she chose to do that. Any deflection, blame shifting, etc., if that were to happen, is not okay and doesn't invalidate what is happening to you now. Edited to add, people are commenting blaming you for eavesdropping and that you must get over it and how young she was. Listen, some people are silly in really butterfly effect ways when they're young. I remember being 21. I'm 37. I didn't cheat and was very against it. From a young age, I couldn't imagine breaking someone's spirit and sense of safety like that. Age isn't really an excuse, neither is the beginning of your relationship an excuse, particularly because you all were friends before. Please block out the external chatter that feels shaming or minimizing. It's people projecting their own personal guilt onto you. What matters is you processing it with a good therapist and talking to her and seeing how she reacts and what happens from there. Your choices really lie at, can I forgive her and rebuild without resentment? Or do I need to move on and process this so I can heal and still be a good partner to someone else in the future? I would highly recommend not trying for children until this is all in the past one way or the other. Remember that many people feel guilty after every instance of whatever damaging behavior, but it doesn't mean people stop doing the behaviors. There's so much more to this than, she felt guilty, so that's good. It's good-ish, but it's a drop in the bucket of good. You're dealing with the infidelity and the 15 years of lying. They're separate issues tied to the same event. Maybe you would have forgiven easier at that time since it was the beginning. The 15 years add another layer to it. What she does when you all talk gives every answer to whether she can be trustworthy. I would personally have a hard time, but that's not to say it's impossible. Seriously, best of luck, original poster. Your feelings in this are what matter the most here for the outcome. And it's also okay if you talk to her, give it your best shot, and change your mind and leave. The issue here, to me, is she handled her doubt by cheating instead of communicating with you, and then kept not communicating with you, and I'm wondering how being involved with another guy could have helped at the time. It's so silly. I'm not sure things with someone would work out. So I get involved with another guy. I don't understand the logic.